We've been covering the growing lithium industry in Canada as part of our Capital 10X interview series. We're happy to have Robin Dunbar, CEO of Grid Metals, joining us to discuss a major milestone with the company. Robin, you've just announced a transaction to acquire additional properties in South East Manitoba. Can you give us a bit of history on these assets, both the assets themselves and if they've been on Grid's radar for very long?
Yeah, Dwayne, the properties have been on our radar for a long time. The nickel is generally hosted in a certain type of rock, ultramafic rock, and these rocks have a real distinct signature. There's the Gossan ground has been held by a company, Gossan, for many years. We were neighbors, and they slowly went on to other projects, and we never could agree on the price. We've been talking to them for years, and we tried to buy it in the low of the market when prices were down, and we finally came to a meeting of the minds. And they have about a 5 million ton resource, and we think lots of upside to explore further. We got the right rocks there for I think 5 or 6 kilometers, which is that gives us some scope. And then the Eagle claims were held by a family in Winnipeg who, it was originally staked by a geologist back in the 1950s, and I think it's his grandmother now who was holding them. And I've been going back and forth with her for years, never could agree on the price, and they had some other properties that they sold to First Mining in Quebec, and this property was thrown in with that. And so when I saw that change of ownership, it's clearly non-core for First Mining Gold, and so that one worked out. So it just happened that two things came to fruition at the same time, and gives us more resource. It's the right rocks, really fills out our position. And while nickel isn't our immediate focus, we're really excited about what we're doing in the lithium space. That is having the ground and to work and expand your resource is key. And so the time was right. So pretty happy that we were able to do what we did.
Which leads us to our next question regarding nickel. So are you warming up to nickel with respect to your outlook versus other battery metals? How does nickel stack up?
Yeah, I mean, I think just slightly different profile than our lithium project, because we've been doing nickel exploration for years. It is a tough metal to find in economic quantities. Most deposits are too small, and you need a certain amount of capex to develop. So you're seeing these giant projects that are super low grade that will cost $1 billion plus be worked on, and you'll see higher grade but quite small. We're somewhere in the middle, so we have what we call a moderate grade, but we'll need say 180 to 100 million tons of rock that's $60 or $70 your net value. So that's what we think is kind of is required, and we think we can do it with the land position we have now. Nickel is key. The market is fragmenting into where you find it. Is it ESG friendly? Is it green nickel? Nickel in North America that can be sold to the U.S. automakers, and they can get a credit for it being North American sourced, that's green, is going to become more and more valuable. So in the long term, we certainly like nickel. It's going to be a bigger lift, longer permitting time, but very valuable project for us. And if we're trying to get to 80 to 100 million tons, I mean, you'll see with our new resource, we're going to take a big step there, and with this acquisition. So, we think it's within reach, and it's going to be a great project for us.
Excellent. You've mentioned in your press release that a new 43-101 report is being prepared for your legacy Makwa and M2 properties. When do you expect the updated report to be ready to release?
Yeah, Dwayne, I'm thinking, probably no later than 2 months, we'll be able to put something out on that. It's been delayed somewhat already, but we're really focused on coming up with the right numbers and our really representative resource. So we've been working closely with the consultants, and Dave Peck is our head of technical. He's a nickel guy, really experienced, and so we think we're going to have a good outcome on that. within about 2 months.
Your goal is to expand your base metal resource to greater than 200,000 tons contain nickel and 300,000 tons contain copper. Could you comment on the significance of those resource numbers?
Yeah, I mean, we think that that's the level at which the project is big enough that you can attract interest from a strategic investor, somebody who would want to come in and fund millions of dollars development, and they would do that because they're interested in the offtake of the metal. So that's kind of an arbitrary number, but it seems to be the 200,000 ton contained nickel is something that gets the bigger companies who are in the nickel space interested in so for that that amount of metal, if we have the same grade that we have, 80 to 100 million tons will do that. So yeah, so that would give us 200,000 tons of nickel, even more 250 to 300 of copper. That's 600 million pounds of copper, and there's a lot of PGMs and platinum as well, palladium, platinum. So and some cobalt. So a nice polymetallic suite. And we mentioned Boliden's project, the Kevitsa project, and that's similar grade. Theirs is bigger, but it's the same metal suite. So we think that's a good analogy for us.
Robin, broadly speaking, out of your portfolio of properties, what are you most excited about right now?
Yeah, well, the unique opportunity for us is on the lithium side to get into production relatively soon and start making some money and fund the company that way. And that's Donner Lake. And the only reason we can do that is that we're close to the Tanko mine, which has consistently told us they want ore to feed their mill and their expansion, and so that is a unique opportunity for us. And we're trying to do a relatively small scale production to start and make some money, and we're even hoping to have a mining permit as soon as next year. So that's light speed in the industry, and you can't do that unless you're toll milling, and there's only 2 operating lithium mines in Canada. So it's a great opportunity for us, and that is a unique opportunity. Making money really turns my crank because it differentiates you from 99% of the other junior companies, and the price of lithium is really high, and that would fund a lot of exploration and development in Southeast Manitoba. Like we really want to build a business, and so that would be a great first step. We also have the Falcon West property that we're just getting permitted for drilling. That's a really, really interesting property. I mean, we've got spodumene showings, a historical resource like a kilometer apart, and the first thing we're going to find out is do they join up, and do we have a near surface open pit an hour from Winnipeg, right beside the Trans-Canada Highway. So that's pretty exciting. Ties into the South West Manitoba theme, and like the most metal in the ground right now is our nickel project. So all our projects have some excitement, just different profiles. I'd say if I had to pick one right now, it's Donner Lake, and trying to get some more through the door and make some money.
Robin, thanks for joining us again, and we look forward to hearing about some new updates from you soon. For all things nickel and other commodities, join us on Capital 10X.